Apple set to hold its biggest product launch event of the year today. The company's calling it, remember, awe-dropping, but it has been slow to launch its own artificial intelligence features. Could this launch fall short of expectations? Let's get more from Dan Morgan, Senior Portfolio Manager at Synovus Trust. Dan, always great to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
What are the one or two big products that Apple will unveil today, do you think?
You know, Andy, coming into this release, I mean, obviously, you know, we've gotten some preliminary, news on what potentially could come out. I mean, if you look at, they have a new AirTag, which is something that you can place on a backpack or something to find your keys. You're able to pick up where it's geographically located on your phone. They've got some new earbuds for their MP3 players. They have some upgrades on their watch, which haven't occurred over the course of last 2 years. But obviously, all eyes, Andy, are going to be on the release of their iPhone 17 and the new features that go along with that. And we can talk a little bit about what the expectations are on the street and what may actually happen. So it's going to be interesting.
AI, are they behind the gun on AI? I mean, you've probably seen those ads from Google taunting Apple over alleged slowness to roll out AI features.
Yeah, Andy, that's really the big issue coming into this upcoming new product release is that, initially everybody thought that they would be releasing their new AI assistant, Siri, which was going to be basically something equivalent to, let's say, a Gemini, which is on your, any Android phone. You can ask a question and it gives back you a response. Unfortunately, that's going to be delayed into the spring. So a lot of people feel that there's just not a catalyst for current iPhone users to really rush out and buy the new iPhone 17 without the Siri-powered AI assistant on board. So that's why this upcoming new product release that's going to be coming out is kind of, they say it's awe-dropping, Andy, but it may be maybe a different type of awe-dropping with people kind of yawning like, well, when are we going to get the new Siri? So we'll see.
Stock has been something about, I know it's rallied off its lows, but for the calendar year, it's down about 6%. Is it a buy at this stage, Dan?
Well, it's kind of difficult right now. I mean, like I said, we're kind of waiting for that new release to come out with the AI-powered Siri assistant. Until then, I expect the stock to be pretty lackluster. If you look at the expectations, Andy, for upcoming iPhone sales in fiscal year 2025, they're only about 225 million. That is about a 1% increase from a year ago. The stock has rallied over 200. Valuations are a little bit stretched right now compared to historical levels. So I think it's kind of a wait and see stock, Andy, right now. We got to wait to get that Siri assistant out. When that occurs, and we kind of gauge what kind of impact that'll have in terms of the iPhone 17 upgrade cycle. But before that, which isn't even expected till the spring, I would expect the stock to be kind of languish.
What about China? China's only one market, of course, but there is evidence they've been beaten by local phone makers in terms of features.
Yeah, and it's also been difficult, too, because you have, like you said, Andy, local Chinese manufacturers who are coming out with phones that are competing against Apple. Mm-hmm. And then you have this kind of on and off relationship with the U.S. government in regards to tariffs, in regards to reprieves on the tariffs. They give a 90-day, and then Apple came out and agreed that they were going to start doing some manufacturing here in the U.S. So all of a sudden they lifted these tariffs and so forth going out there with their phones. So they've also maneuvered some of their manufacturing out of the Pacific Rim into India to try to compete better. But you're right, the China sales is really kind of a conundrum. We don't know what's really going to come out of that. And we have to bear in mind, Andy, at one point, China was 15 to 20% of their total revenues, and it was one of their biggest burgeoning markets. So you're right. I mean, China with competition and not knowing what's going to happen with tariffs and all these moving parts, it's kind of become a tough segment for growth for Apple.
frustrating for Apple. They've been the tech leader, the innovation leader. I mean, I remember the early part of this century, 2008, they came out with apps for the iPhone, and it really transformed human life, I think you could say.
Yeah, and you go back to 2007, they came out with the iPhone, which at that time was revolutionary. You had Nokia, Ericsson, companies like that. Motorola were producing phones. Qualcomm was in that business with Sony. And now a lot of those companies don't even produce phones anymore. So, the big thing, Andy, as you said in the beginning of our conversation, is that the perception by a lot of investors is that Apple's been very late in terms of coming out and rolling out a very convincing AI strategy. You look at a lot of their competitors in the Magnificent Seven, especially NVIDIA. You look at Alphabet, you look at Meta and all these other companies, they seem to have a more coordinated approach when it comes to AI, and they've had more releases. So I think until Apple can come out with that killer AI app, it's going to be really tough.
I guess we shouldn't underestimate them, though.
They're a big kahuna.
Yeah, they have some pretty smart people working over there. It's going to be fascinating to see. Dan, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Andy.
Dan Morgan, Senior Portfolio Manager at Synovus Trust.